Hi Scorpio, welcome to your 20th to the 27th of November 2023. So this is going to be general energy messages for the week ahead. If you want to book a reading, it is in the I dot, like, comment, and 2024 will be up really soon. So I didn't have energy last week to get the whole signs done. It's a lot of work, a lot of energy, but I just wanted to put them out. So let's take a look and see what's happening for Scorpio, okay? So what are we seeing for Scorpios? What is happening for Scorpios, the 20th to the 27th? Ace of Cups reverse. So some of you could be draining yourself, or you're giving your emotions to something that the divine doesn't support. So the Ace of Cups upright would be the divine is supporting a connection. This will be self-love. It will be filling up your cup. Be careful of people who are draining you. Okay, I feel like we do live in a society, the Scorpio season, your birthday, just the energies might have really, really drained you. So the Ace of Cups reversed is maybe fill back up your cup. But maybe some of you are giving yourself to something that is draining your emotions or draining you. It could be certain people. And so you need to pull back and replenish yourself. Pull back from people who just take. You know, this can be where you become the therapist to the people in your life. That's not your job. It's okay to be there for people. It's okay to be empathic, but it's not your job to sit there listening to people's bullshit. Which, by the way, as someone who's qualified and does this for a living, that is what it is. Mostly you're just listening to bullshit. Real problems give me, but your bullshit and your drama and your Kardashian, take it somewhere else. Right? Seriously, Scorpio. So I think with you, sometimes you do get into that pattern of kind of taking on trivialities, and I think you need to replenish yourself, okay? Eight of Pentacles. Some of you might do this for a living. So in other words, you might, do this for a living, but I do think it's important to separate job from home. Sometimes we take our job home with us, right? Some of you right now, you're not focused on love this week. You're focused on money. You're focused on your career. Sometimes it's good to focus on one thing at a time instead of trying to do everything in a week. So some of you this week, you're really heavily focused on building what you're building, your career, your money. You're not really focused on love, okay? So what else are we seeing for Scorpios this week, please? I feel like some of you are dealing with a person who's always making work as an excuse. But if you're a priority to a person, they're going to make you a priority. So yeah, some of you are dealing with a Taurus, or you're dealing with someone who's using work or education as an excuse. If they're never there, why are they there? Right? We've all got commitments. We've all got things that we need to focus on. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious. But if a person's never around filling you up, you might as well get rid and find someone better. Okay? So what energy is Scorpio carrying this week, please? The 20th to the 27th. The World card reversed. I feel like some of you Scorpios, you're stuck in a bit of a rut, and you're refusing to acknowledge that. So I feel like this week you could be doing education, you could be doing a job. Obviously this week that might take priority. So sometimes things take priority and we can't be out there doing love. We've got to focus on our coin, we've got to focus on our education. For those Scorpios who are listening and that's what you're doing, good. It is a week to put emotions on the back burner. It isn't a week to be showing off and putting yourself out there. It's a week to put your head down, work on your coin, work on your performance, work on your education. Could be an exam. There is weeks where that is what we need to be doing. Working, sleeping, replenishing, etc. But I do think for some of you Scorpios, this can also be someone who's putting a lot of work into getting a commitment, putting a lot of work into keeping a commitment. That's not what love is supposed to be. It's two people. Think of it like a canoe. So you need two people on either side to row the fucking boat, or it's not going anywhere, right? The problem with this is you're out here in a canoe in the middle of nowhere, rowing your ass nowhere, right? I'm making jokes, but seriously. And you're draining yourself. So I think that this is a one-sided connection where you're putting a lot of work into this connection, but the person's not rowing back. Okay? So it's as Warren Buffett said, you can put as much work in as you want. If you're rowing in the wrong boat, it's the wrong boat. So I think this might be the case. It could also be the case for your career. There is plenty of people who work their face off at the bottom and they will never get a promotion, they will never get respect, they will never, it just is what it is. Okay, so I feel like the message here is, instead of rowing in the wrong boat, get out the fucking boat, swim over to shore, replenish yourself, and then think about what you want in 2024. Because it isn't this. The world card's upright is Scorpio, so this would be a Scorpio woman who honours herself and values herself. World card reversed. But I do feel like for some of you Scorpios, it can be being stuck in a bit of a rut, and this happens to everybody. You know, I think sometimes we get comfortable, right? We get comfortable getting fat, we get comfortable in a job, we get comfortable in a relationship. It's not really what we want, but it just kind of happens by itself, right? So I feel like for you, it's like, but you're not happy. Even this relationship that you're really trying to make work, or this connection, you're not happy, right? And how can you be? A lot of people who get big don't want to get big. They just kind of unravel over time and then look in the mirror and go, shit. You know, it just happens, right? Like, but I think with you now, it's time to see where you are depleting yourself, where you are drained, where something isn't really what you want. You're just kind of doing it through the motions. You're going through the motions, okay? What does Scorpio most need to know this week, please? The Knight of Cups. With this, no more crumbs, no more settling. If you don't give something, you don't get something. Okay, so this is another thing that I encounter. You know, I'll say to women, they'll be like, I'm single, and I'll be like, okay, do you want to be in a relationship? And they'll be like, yeah, and I'll be like, what are you doing? They'll be like, well, I go to work and then I go home. Okay. Do you think this is a fucking Disney movie? Do you think Knight in Shining Armour's coming to knock on the door? Because he's not. Right, seriously though, you got to give something to get something. So if you want connection, you've got to start going out there, doing the awkward dates, doing the, I know it's awkward, it's horrible, I don't like it either. I've done dates and it's so uncomfortable. But I think sometimes it can be the kind of dates you're going on, the kind of people you're choosing. But the other side of the coin is everybody's nervous, so that is just part of the bargain. It's part of the deal, right? We got to go out there, be awkward, connect, etc. So some of you need to get out there over this holiday season. Stop using work as an excuse. Stop using tiredness as an excuse. If you want love to come in, you're going to have to go out there and put yourself out there, okay? 10 of Wands. But I do think something is heavy for you. But take it from someone who did it right. I think there's decent people in this world and they break the back for people and they give far too much and you just get run dry. Especially by these predators. They don't give a fuck. The more you give, the more they'll take. Honestly. You got to know your worth in this world, and you know, you got to know, some people get too rigid where they give absolutely nothing. Well, you're not going to get nothing there, but you can also give too much. So you find the balance between giving enough and then knowing when to say, you know what, now. Same as a relationship, right? You've got to go out there, you've got to date people, you've got to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you've also got to know when it's time to set stronger boundaries and be like, nah, you're just playing me, you're just using me, like you're wasting me time, you're wasting me energy. But I think some of you are single and you're not going to know that if you don't go on the dates and connect with people and give them the benefit of the doubt. Someone's too rigid here, they're not even giving a person the benefit of the doubt, they're not even out there in the field, right? The 7 of Wands is playing the field, getting out on the field. But some of you are dealing with a player as well. I feel like some of you are dealing with someone who wants the cake and eat it. It could be someone you're in a relationship with. So this is someone who wants the relationship, but they also want to act like they're single. Okay? I do feel like for some of you Scorpios, you're at the end of your rope. And I think it might be because with the Ace of Cups reversed, you're just getting drained at this point. Some of you are dealing, with an Aries. Some of you are dealing with a Sagittarius. But you're just dealing with a relationship that is not going to expand. Now, for those who are married or committed, I feel like you are dealing with someone who potentially is going through a hard time. This is something as a collective that we have to understand. I mean, if you're married or if you're in a relationship, I think it's a hard time for a lot of people. So sometimes it's not that your partner's cheating, it's that they're generally breaking the back to bring in the bread and butter because it's that type of time. You know? So maybe you and your partner, it's like ships in the night, like there is no cheating going on, it's genuine tiredness, it's genuine people out there trying to do what needs to be done to keep each other afloat, to keep the family afloat. But maybe you just need better time management. Maybe you need one day a week where you'd have a date night, no excuses. Yeah, I think couples need that day, that one day for them. No kids, no job, no nothing. Just you fuck, you eat, you snuggle, you connect with each other, right? It's necessary, it's needed, right? Um, but I think some of yous, this is not a relationship. This is you breaking your back as if you were married or as if you were with this person, and this is a fuckboy. This is not your problem, not your man, not your woman, not your problem type of stuff. So some of you need to take your power back. I think for the Scorpio man, there's a woman who's never going to be your woman. Drop it, let it go. Believe me, when you want something enough, I know this for me, right? Because most men I don't want. I mean, I can get a lot of men I want, but I just don't move. If I don't really, you could be attractive, you could be, but if I don't really want you, I ain't moving. But then I'll notice if there's a guy I see that I really want, I'll like make compromise. I'll move, you know, like I'll be awkward and stuff like that. So believe me, when humans really want something, even the rigid ones, they're gonna move when they want it. That's just the way the game is, right? Even people who are socially anxious and fearful of love, if they really see something that they want, they're gonna make the effort. And I feel like for some of you Scorpios, the person that you're rowing in the boat for just isn't making the effort because you're just not what they want. And I know it's painful, right? It's rejection, it's difficult, but like, listen, that's what life is. Life is rejection, life is death, life is being pissed on mostly, you know, and then every now and again you land a fucking diamond, you know, like that's it, right? But I think as you age, you get better with rejections, you get better with people not being compatible, you get better with failure. Or you should be getting better with it because you've lived enough life to be like, that's the game. I reject people, people reject me. So I feel like for some of you Scorpios, it's time. Firstly, some of you, your job is draining you. You're giving far too much. You're not the CEO of the company, you're a fucking employer, so act at the standard of level that they're paying you. Okay, the CEO's paid his salary at the level he's paid because he gets to get the money for the fucking stress, right? So some of you need to act at the level you're being paid for and stop acting more. Unless you want to be your CEO, well, it's time to move in that direction and get the money and the value. So some of you are draining yourself because you're taking on far too much for far too little, so it's about you. Some of you, if you're married or in a relationship, it's a heavy time for a lot of people, so you really have to manage your time, manage your relationship, your intimacy. And some of you, you're single, and it's about putting yourself out there over the holiday season because there's lots of opportunity to meet people if you're willing to put yourself out there. I'm not saying sit out here with your tongue out and be thirsty, but you know, you got to give something to get something, right? What I mean is, don't take the first opportunity that comes your way, but be open to opportunity, okay? I feel like some of yous, it could be an environment, but this is the case for a lot of people. I feel like some of yous have got a person around you. This might be like student accommodation, or it might be a multi-story where there's a lot of people around you. And I feel like these people are selfish. They might be keeping you up all night. Something about tiredness. So some of yous might need to think about a location change. An accommodation change. So, you know, when we're younger, we live with other people because we're kind of younger and that's just the kind of reality. But as we age, things change. So I do think some of you need to start thinking about a location change or an accommodation change, because you might be living with other people, but these people are not good, they're not balanced. This can be people who are, you know, they have no rules, they have no social. These are people who, they don't follow an order, they're kind of scatty. But their scatty affects you. So they're rolling in at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no routine. Like, you know, they play the music really not like there's no order, and that can massively affect you. Some of you, it's someone you're sleeping with. So some of you are kind of going in circles with someone you're sleeping with. This person is a mess. Okay, so I do think for some of you Scorpios, you need to find balance in yourself, but some of you need to be honest that you're kind of rowing in the wrong boat in a career, in a location, in a I'm getting specifically a home. It's not good for your peace. It's draining. You know, it could be, for example, you're a very clean person, but you live with meths. That shit will drive you insane. It will put you in a psych unit. You know, I had it the other weekend where I stayed somewhere and someone shit all over the bog twice. And I was just like, this person's kidding, right? Apparently that's acceptable. So yeah, you just get some genuine meths who have no social awareness and they're just meths. And they have no standards for themselves. And if you're around that and you do have standards, it's really triggering. So I think some of you need to think about um, some kind of environment change, some kind of some of you need to give up on a person who just, this person's a mess, like this person's been in and out of your life, this person never makes decisions, they're always in conflict, they're back and forth. And it's just like, I just think you need better. You need to choose better for yourself. You need to replenish your cup. You need to stand strong this week and set stronger boundaries with people. I mean, some years it could be someone who's living with you who you tell them to leave. So that might be your house, it might be your rental, but this person's living with you and you're like, no, get out. I think you need to stand your ground with certain people in your life this week. You need to set stronger boundaries. Because honestly, people are like that. Give them an inch, they will take a fucking mile. Especially lower frequency people, because they have no standards for themselves, so they're definitely not going to have standards for you. They have no respect for themselves, so people who don't respect themselves are not going to respect you. When I'm in a community of people, I'm aware, right? I'm like, okay, there's other people around me. I need to make sure that I'm clean and I'm tidy and I'm aware. But just based off my travelling and what I've seen, like some people are just so, I don't know if it's like general arrogance or they're generally just like very primal and they just have no social awareness, but it's just rude. So some of you set strong boundaries this week. Some of you need to accept that a man is primal, he's just not invested in you and you're wasting your emotions and you're wasting your energy. Same as a woman for the Scorpio man. You need to move into alignment so you can bring people in who are on the same page. Okay? Some of you need to think about like going to a new house where you can get a new room where the people there are professional and tidy and contained and respectful. The definition of insanity is trying to change what can't be changed, right? Which is certain people and the way that they live and who they are. You know, it's trying to get with a man and make him emotionally available when he's just not available. Like, don't waste your time. So there's something for you where you're putting your effort into something and it's just not going to bring you what you want. It's definitely not going to bring peace, it's draining you. It can be a job where it's full of toxic dickheads and no matter how much you break your back, it just, you might as well just not bother. I mean, you can see it, they just don't care. You know? So it's not about value, it's not about who works the hardest, it's not about who loves the most, Scorpio, it's about what's convenient for people. Wake up. Wake up, open your fucking pretty brown eyes or your pretty blue eyes and look at the world and what people are. Now, I'm not saying become an arsehole yourself, find the balance, but know when to set strong boundaries when people are crossing over the line. You still want to be someone who gives, you still want to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Sometimes people aren't aware of what they're doing, so by speaking to them, it actually helps them. But sometimes people know exactly what they're doing. It's as Tom Hardy said, and I think he's a Scorpio, people know exactly what they're doing. Stop giving them so many concessions. If you want a private, it's in the iDot. You can book your 2024. 2024 general will be up soon. Like the video, comment. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon.